What's going on, everyone? Today we are taking a look at the newest power station from VTOMAN. This is the FlashSpeed Pro 3600. Taking a look at some of the specs, this has a 3096 watt hour LiFePO4 battery, a 3600 watt power handling with a peak of 6000 watts, a 800 watt solar charging input, UPS function, and weighs 83.8 pounds. Taking a look at the power station, this is definitely a very nice and unique looking power station. As you can see, they adapted their new design that they use on the VTOMAN FlashSpeed 1500 expansion battery. Overall, definitely a very nice look. Overall, it kind of reminds me of our Lamborghini. Kind of has that nice, luxurious sports car look, so definitely a fan of that. If you're not familiar with VTOMAN, they've been around for quite some time now. They basically specialize in great bang for your buck power stations that give you a whole bunch of value but don't charge much, especially when you compare it to all the other power stations out there. In the past, their biggest power station was only about 1500 watt hours. This one is a little over 3000 watt hours, so this is their biggest power station they've made so far. But despite being bigger in capacity, this one is not that much bigger compared to their other power stations. 1 second, let me go ahead and get their FlashSpeed 1500. All right, so here it is with the FlashSpeed 1500 in front of it. Then we have the 3600 in back. It's very similar in width, maybe about 2 inches wider, something like that. And about 40% taller maybe. So not even 50% larger, despite having double the capacity and more than double the power output. So definitely a compact unit and also one of the smallest 3000 watt hour power stations on the market. Here on the side, that's where you can see quite a size difference, as the 3600 has a lot more depth, but still a very nice and compact shape. I like how they made it a small little square, so you can easily store this in the back of a small SUV without any problems. So looking at the top, you have 2 handles here, lots of room in here, so you can easily carry it and lift it like that. But coming to the side, as you can see, we do have 2 large wheels in the back. And then right up here, you have a suitcase style handle. And I gotta say, definitely a very good quality handle. It feels nice and rugged, and it is made of metal. So just like that, once you take it out of your car, maybe you wanna move it around your house, all you gotta do is plop out the handle, tilt it back, and now you can very easily just wheel it around like that. And then once you get it where you want it, just push this button right here, and the whole thing just retracts like that to make it a nice compact square once again. And then last but not least, coming up top, similar to their other power stations, you have this convenient storage space where you can carry your charging cable, USB cables, and any other small things as well. Makes it very simple, so wherever you have your power station, you automatically have the cables that you need with it as well. Taking a look at the front, as you can see, you do not have any ports on the immediate front, and that's because everything is under this panel right here. Nice little touch that I haven't seen on another power station. This way, when you plug things in, if you're using it outdoors and it starts to drizzle, none of the water will come in contact with your outlets. It kind of works as a little roof like that. This way, it gives you enough time to unplug things, turn it off, and take the power station inside. Another unique feature that I have not seen on any other power station is the LED lights around these ports. So this way, if you're using the power station in the dark, maybe you're out camping somewhere, you don't got to fumble around with the light trying to see the ports, plug it in. All you got to do is turn it on. Well, even when it's off, it still has a dimmer light, but once you press it, that's when it gets brighter. And as you can see, it does illuminate the whole entire area very easily. Same with the DC, it has the ring around the cigarette lighters and the DC ports. And then when you push on it, that does get brighter as well. Unfortunately, you do not have lights on the AC port, so it would have been nice if they added another light strip around here so you can also see these ports as well. Taking a look at your ports, right over here you have 2 full 100 watt USB-C ports. Over here you have 4 USB-A ports. 2 of these put out 12 watts, the other ones put out 18 watts. Right down here you have 4 AC outlets. This one can put out a max of 3600 watts, and these can put out a max of 2200 watts each, or a max of 36 watts altogether. And then last but not least, right up here you have 2 car cigarette lighter ports, which is not something you see on a lot of power stations. And then right over here, you have your 2 DC ports as well. Coming to the left side of the power station, you have this little rubber flap here, which seals and protects the input ports. And under this, you have your AC input, and then you have your solar input, which is an Anderson port. Coming back to the front, you have two built-in LEDs, and on here you have a medium mode, high mode, and then you also have two blinking red light modes as well. Definitely cool to have that. It's just going to give you good visibility if you happen to be camping. Maybe you die out on the side of the road. You can go ahead and use these as emergency lights. Taking a look at the screen, it is pretty simple, but I like that the percentage font is nice and large. This way you can be pretty far from the power station and still see how much battery you have left. And besides that, you also have your indicators for what's on. And then if you have it charging or discharging, you also see the wattage amounts for those as well. So when it comes to charging this unit, there's two different ways you can charge it. First off, you have your AC input, which can charge at a max of 1800 watts. And this will charge you from 0 to 100 in only 2 hours. And then you can also charge it by solar, which can charge at a max of 800 watts. And this will give you a full charge within 5 to 8 hours. And this supports 12 to 80 volt solar panels. So let's go ahead and test out the inverter on this. As I said earlier, this has a power handling of 3,600 watts and a peak of 6,000 watts. So right now I have this power station in my shed, and this is technically an off-grid shed, but I have the option to power it from the grid or a power station like this one. So let me go ahead and move this over and we'll see how much everything in the shed draws from the power station. So as you can see, I now have the shed being powered by the power station. Before I show you how many watts this is drawing, let me go ahead and show you everything that's running. So right here I have a Eero Wi-Fi router. Next to that I have a Google Home, and this is the larger 10-inch model. Right up here I have a total of 8 can lights, and these do have built-in Wi-Fi as well. So that's going to draw a little more power. Right here in the middle I have 5 more light bulbs, and these also have Wi-Fi. So that's a total of 13 bulbs. Right over here I have a cell phone charger with 2 ports on it. I have a power bank charging that's currently pulling 42 watts. And then right here next to it I also have a cell phone that's charging. And then last but not least, I also have my MacBook Pro. As you can see, I only have 31% left. So this should be drawing somewhere around its max power of 60 to 80 watts. So just to recap, that's a Wi-Fi router, Google Home, 13 light bulbs with Wi-Fi, a power bank, a cell phone, and a MacBook Pro. And all of that is barely drawing 289 watts. This has 3,600 watts. So besides everything I have running, this still has 3,400 watts to play with. So again, 3,600 watts is definitely a lot of power. A regular outlet can only put out 1,800 watts at the most. So this is pretty much going to be able to power 2 high power devices at the same time, whether this be a blender, toaster, microwave, air conditioner, heater, or so on, so on. This is only a shed office, so in comparison, a full house is going to have more light bulbs, more Wi-Fi devices, and then the biggest constant draw is probably going to be your full-size fridge. So even with all of that, that's probably going to put you at about 800 watts to 1,500 watts, which still leaves you with about 2,000 watts and a little more left to use on this power station. All right, so I went and got a electric heater, and I have it running on the highest mode right now. So everything in the shed plus the electric heater running about 1,800 watts, probably going to settle about 1,600 watts. So right now this is the peak wattage of the heater. And as you can see, we settled at about 1,550 watts. So I went and got a second heater. As you can see, I'm now running 2 electric heaters. Blaring hot at me right now, but I guess I'll just power through this. Now pulling a little over 3,000 watts. Settling back down. And it looks like we settled right around 2,700 watts. So again, 3,600 watts is definitely a lot of power and more than enough to run several items at the same time on this power station. Another feature I really like on this is called VBAND technology, which lets you power devices up to 6,000 watts total. So how this works is, say for example, you have a bunch of things plugged in here and you're already at 3,000 watts and you want to run a heater, which is going to draw 1,500 watts. On a normal power station, if you plug that in, it's going to trip the breaker inside, shut off the power station, and not going to let you do it. But with this one, it's going to take that heater and run it at a lower wattage. This way you still get to run everything. Yes, you're losing a little bit of output from that heater, but this is letting you run more than you normally could on that 3,600 watts. Again, a lot of other power stations would just shut off at that point. So that's something that makes this power station a lot better than other comparable units out there. All right, so let's go ahead and test this out. Right here I have the FlashSpeed 1500 plugged into the 3600 so it can charge from that. As you can see here, it's charging now at 1600 watts, 1700 watts. So let me go ahead and turn on one of these heaters. And now we are pulling 2300 watts from the power station, 2700 watts, 2900, 32, 33. All right, we're at 3200 watts. So now I'm gonna go ahead and turn on this heater. Again, we're at 3200 watts, so we only have 400 watts to play with. On a normal power station, this would have made it shut off. Well, let's go ahead and see what it does. So we're at 3400 watts, 3600 watts, 38. And now starting to dial it back down, 36, 35, 3800 watts, still on and running. So already way beyond its rated limit. 3900 watts, 3800 watts, and now it's starting to settle back down. This is most likely the VBAND technology doing its thing. And it looks like it's letting us run over 3600 watts, almost 3700 watts, so definitely very impressive. And it looks like we settled right there at about 3650 watts. So again, definitely a very, very useful feature to have. And as you can see, the inverter does work as advertised and even can put out a little more as well. All in all, this is gonna be great for home backup, camping, outdoor parties, a small off-grid setup, or pretty much anywhere else where you might need portable power. And as I said earlier, this does have a built-in UPS. So if you do have a power outage, this is gonna give you uninterrupted power to your fridge, CPAP machine, computers, Wi-Fi routers, and more. So I know there's a lot of people out there that get nervous when it comes to storing large batteries like this in their house, but rest assured you don't have anything to worry about, as all VTOMAN power stations come with their Life BMS protection. This includes a ton of different ways to keep the battery safe, including overheating protection, spark protection, over voltage protection, and a lot more. I'll throw an image up on the screen so you can see what they all are as well. Overall, this is definitely a great power station. It's very compact for its size. It has a good usable capacity. And best of all, it's also very affordable as well. All in all, if you happen to be shopping for a mid to large size power station, I would highly, highly recommend this one here, which again is the VTOMAN FlashSpeed Pro 3600. If you would like to purchase or get more information, I'll also have the link in the description as well. All right, well, that wraps up this video. As usual, if you have any questions at all, feel free to drop me a comment and let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.